Ms. Lively has brought this litigation in New York, where much of the relevant activities described in the complaint. After going public with her complaint earlier in the month, Lively made things official by filing a lawsuit in New York federal court December 31st. Naming Baldoni, Wayfarer, and PR representatives Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel for subjecting her to further retaliation and attacks after she participated in the New York Times story. Ms. Lively has brought this litigation in New York, where much of the relevant activities described in the complaint took place. But we reserve the right to pursue further action in other venues and jurisdictions as appropriate under the law, said one of Lively's attorneys. That same day, Baldoni announced he was suing the New York Times for $250 million over its bombshell story about the alleged smear campaign. The 87-page lawsuit, filed Tuesday in Los Angeles Superior Court, accuses the Times of defamation, stating that the newspaper's reliance on cherry-picked and altered communications stripped of necessary context and deliberately spliced to mislead. The lawsuit adds that the news outlet relied almost entirely on Lively's unverified and self-serving narrative, lifting it nearly verbatim, while disregarding an abundance of evidence that contradicted her claims and exposed her true motives. Baldoni next named Lively and Reynolds in a lawsuit, accusing the Hollywood power couple of hijacking the film and orchestrating a smear campaign against him. The lawsuit, which was also filed on behalf of his film studio, Wayfarer, and its chief executive, Jamie Heath, a producer on the film, requests at least $400 million in damages, alleging defamation, civil extortion, and breach of contract, among other accusations. This lawsuit is a legal action based on an overwhelming amount of untampered evidence detailing Blake Lively and her team's duplicitous attempt to destroy Justin Baldoni, his team, and their respective companies by disseminating grossly edited, unsubstantiated, new, and doctored information to the media, said Baldoni's attorney Brian Friedman in a statement. Lively's legal team issued a rebuttal within hours, writing, "This is an age-old story. A woman speaks up with concrete evidence of sexual harassment and retaliation, and the abuser attempts to turn the tables on the victim. This is what experts call DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim offender." January 21, 2025. Baldoni shares a video in an attempt to disprove Lively's allegations. On Tuesday, Baldoni's legal team released footage from the set of the movie, claiming that it would refute Lively's claims of sexual harassment against him. The video sees the actors slow dancing romantically for a slow-motion montage. During the scene, they seem to speak to each other as themselves, with Lively suggesting several times they be talking as opposed to kissing. At one point, Baldoni leans in to Lively and asks her, "Am I getting beard on you today?" Lively laughs and says, "I'm probably getting spray tan on you," to which Baldoni replies that, "It smells good." The moment was cited among Lively's accusations in her lawsuit, where she claimed that Baldoni leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear and down her neck as he said, "It smells so good." When Ms. Lively later objected to this behavior, Mr. Baldoni's response was, "I'm not even attracted to you." A statement that precedes the footage claims, "The following videos captured on May 23, 2023 clearly refute Ms. Lively's characterization of his behavior." The scene in question was designed to show the two characters falling in love and longing to be close to one another. Both actors are clearly behaving well within the scope of the scene and with mutual respect and professionalism. Lively's legal team argued otherwise in a lengthy statement provided to EU, saying in part that every frame of the released footage corroborates, to the letter, what Ms. Lively described in paragraph 48 of her complaint. The statement calls out Baldoni repeatedly leaning in toward Ms. Lively, attempting to kiss her, kissing her forehead, rubbing his face and mouth against her neck, flicking her lip with his thumb, caressing her, telling her how good she smells, and talking with her out of character. All of which they say was improvised by him with no discussion or consent in advance, and no intimacy coordinator present. Lively's legal team also files a letter to the court, requesting that it enforce their 2 previous cease and desist letters to Baldoni's legal team and find Friedman in violation of Rule 3.6 of the New York Rules of Professional Conduct, which prevents a lawyer who is participating in a civil matter from making an extrajudicial statement that the lawyer knows or reasonably should know will be disseminated by means of public communication, and will have a substantial likelihood of materially prejudicing an adjudicative proceeding in the matter. The letter from Lively's legal team concludes, given the imminent harm caused by Mr. Friedman's misleading and selective statements and leaks, we respectfully request that this court schedule a hearing as soon as possible to address the appropriate conduct of counsel moving forward in these 2 related matters. Baldoni's lawyer Brian Friedman followed up on the action with a statement shared with EU on January 26. The irony is not lost on anyone that Ms. Lively is so petrified of the truth that she has moved to gag it. The immense power that she wielded in Hollywood, built on pure fear of her husband and their powerful friends, came to an end the moment Ms. Lively planned a mass distribution of a disturbingly false and well-calculated hit piece in the New York Times. Ms. Lively did this with the sole intent to ruin the lives of innocent individuals, and then went the extra mile to place blame on a fictitious smear campaign, all because she quite simply could not accept that the public had organically seen through her facade. When you accuse innocent individuals of something so disturbing as sexual harassment without thinking of the destruction it would cause to not only them, but the entire domestic violence community, this is where accountability for such mean-spirited actions must be taken. We will always respect the court. However, we will never be bullied by those suggesting we cannot defend our clients with pure, unedited facts. All we want is for people to see the actual text messages that directly contradict her allegations, video footage that clearly shows there was no sexual harassment, and all the other powerful evidence that directly contradicts any false allegations of sexual harassment and subsequent smear campaign. It seems that in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act.